Love, an exquisite torment. The grand illusion, the sweetest deception. It arrives like a whisper and departs like a storm, leaving behind echoes of what once was. And yet for some, love does not leave so easily. It lingers silent, unspoken, hidden beneath layers of pride, fear, and denial. Nowhere is this more evident than in the mind of an avoidant. You see, unlike the poets and romantics who wear their hearts upon their sleeves, the avoidant does not declare love with grand gestures. No, they speak in riddles, in half-steps and almosts. They say goodbye with their lips, but not with their hearts. And if you listen closely, if you learn to read between the spaces, they tell you, in the quietest of ways, that they never truly let you go. So today, my dear listener, I shall guide you through 5 subtle signs your avoidant ex secretly wants you back. These signs will not be loud. They will not be obvious. No, they will be whispers in the dark, small traces left behind by someone who swears they have moved on, but hasn't. And so let us begin. Sign 1. They linger in the shadows of your life. An avoidant ex will not storm back into your life with a bouquet of apologies and a love song at your window. That is not their way. No, their way is subtle. You will not see them, but you will feel them. A like on an old photo, a view on your story, a comment on a mutual friend's post, nothing too forward, just enough to remind you that they are still there. You may wonder, why would they watch if they do not care? But an avoidant does not observe out of indifference. No, their watching is an act of quiet possession, a tether that allows them to remain connected without the risks that come with closeness. They will never tell you they miss you. That would be too much. Instead, they will stand just outside your door, never knocking, never entering, just waiting, just watching. Sign 2. Their silence is too loud. Ah, silence, the great betrayer of avoidance. Most assume that if an avoidant does not reach out, it means they have moved on. But here is where the untrained heart gets it wrong. You see, for an avoidant, silence is not always absence. Sometimes silence is a battle. They want to reach out, but they do not. They compose messages in their minds, then erase them before they are sent. They pick up their phone, only to put it down again. Their silence is not indifference, it is restraint. And sometimes, just sometimes, they will break. A message at an odd hour, a question that seems almost random. Hey, do you remember the name of that restaurant we went to? As if Google does not exist. They will pretend it is casual, but you must understand, an avoidant does not reach out unless something inside them is unraveling. Sign 3. They speak of you without speaking to you. A curious thing happens when an avoidant still wants you. They will not tell you. That would be too risky. But they will tell everyone else. A friend mentions that your name came up in conversation. A mutual acquaintance says, "Oh, he was asking how you were doing." You are a ghost that haunts their thoughts. An unfinished chapter they cannot seem to close. But why? Why speak of you if they are so determined to stay away? Because avoidants, despite their best efforts, are creatures of contradiction. They do not know how to stay, but they also do not know how to fully let go. And so, they will orbit you from afar, speaking of you in ways that let them remember without having to face you. Sign 4. They accidentally cross your path. Now let us be clear, an avoidant does not believe in coincidences. If you happen to run into them at your favorite coffee shop, at the bookstore you always visited together, or in the very places where you once made memories, it is no accident. It is not that they wish to rekindle things outright. No, that would require admission of longing, and an avoidant would rather chew glass than admit that. Instead, they orchestrate moments that feel like chance, giving them just enough plausible deniability. They want to see you, but they do not want to see you. and so they find ways to be in your presence while pretending it is merely fate. But it is not fate. It is them, trying to pull you back without having to ask. Sign 5. They have not replaced you, though they pretend they have. Now here is the final and most telling sign. An avoidant will do their best to convince the world they have moved on. They may post pictures of nights out, new faces, new distractions, but if you look closer, if you pay attention, you will see that something is missing. Their new relationship lacks the depth, the investment, the realness of what you once had. It is surface level, a performance meant to fool others, perhaps even themselves. But deep down, they know. And when the music fades and they are left alone with their thoughts, it is not the present that holds them. It is the past. An avoidant does not replace love easily. Oh, they may try. But what they fail to realize is this. You were never just an option to them. You were a home they were too afraid to live in. And now, having left, they realize, somewhere deep, deep down, that they are still standing at the doorstep. So, my dear listener, now you know. Avoidants do not return with confessions of love. They return with whispers, with shadows, with echoes. They come back in the quiet ways, in the places where you least expect, in the moments between words. The question then is not whether they want you back. The question is whether you are willing to listen to a love that does not know how to speak its name. And if you are, then perhaps, just perhaps, you will find them waiting there, not with open arms, not with grand gestures, but with quiet hope. Hope that maybe, this time, they will finally stop running.
If you believe this video might help someone dear to you, share it with them. A small gesture on your part could mean the world to a friend in need.